for my phone. It's supposed to double as a tripod for my camera too, but we'll see how well that works, because the reviews on it for camera didn't say very well, so we'll see. Alright, so we are basically just gonna wait for some people to show up. Pearl, good evening! Hi! How are you doing, Pearl? So glad to see you back. I have to apologize for not doing live streams this last Sunday and the Sunday before. This last Sunday, I had a very bad panic attack that day. Tired. One has pneumonia. Oh no! Pneumonia! That's awful. Yeah, I actually, the weekend before this last Sunday, I had a really bad cold. And it took quite a while for me to get over it, but I'm doing a lot better. I still have a little bit of a cough, but little one has pneumonia. Oh, little one has pneumonia. No, that's awful. I'm sorry. Hey, Christy! Oh, girl, I miss the hell out of you. Oh, God, if only you knew. I always talk about you. I miss you so much. Rarsome Cat! Yeah, you've returned! Welcome back! Oh, thank you, Christy. Oh, I'm so glad you miss me too. So yeah, I have my lighting set up. I actually have my camera set up. And oh my god, oh how freaky. There is a spider web that is going from my hat to my camera. What in the hell? Of course I remembered you, Rarsome, of course. Oh, fuck. I hope there is not a spider on me. I'm gonna freak out so hard on live. That is gonna be so bad. Holy hell. Jesus Christ. Is there a spider on my hat? There better not be. Oh my god. Ugh. Oh my god. I have a hat on because my hair is desperately needing to be washed. It's loaded with dry shampoo. Don't judge me. Sorry if my laugh seems really goofy, because it's like it's the only way I can laugh right now without like hacking up a lung. So, oh god. And then a helicopter. Really? Really? Another freaking helicopter. This is insane. It's not even on the usual path. That was me at school today. My hair needed a wash, so I wore a beanie. Yeah, see? Hats save us. Yeah, I know I shouldn't be smoking while I still have a cough, but, you know, I had a panic attack recently, and so it kind of got me back on smoking, and I know it's bad. I am cutting back. I have cut back, actually, quite a lot. But yeah, we are here to talk about the importance of paranormal investigating. I have been getting a lot of questions, a lot of the same questions. And I've even gotten to like really heavy debates with coworkers and everything about what is paranormal and what is not. And a lot of people, they learn a little bit through watching paranormal shows on TV, and because they learn so little, they think they know a lot about what goes on into paranormal investigating, and unfortunately they really don't. I actually thought I knew a lot about paranormal in general just because I grew up knowing all about the paranormal, but I didn't really learn in depth about it until I got into paranormal investigating. And that is why we are here today, to talk about all that stuff. So, I get the most amount of questions regarding orbs in photos or in videos. And this actually is a big pet peeve of mine. Really big. And I know it's not anybody's fault. You know, as they say, ignorance is bliss, and I don't mean to call people ignorant, but literally that's the only way I can describe it, because I don't mean to say any of this to like demean people's concerns or anything. It's just literally there is so much that goes into investigating that a lot of people don't understand. There is a lot of debunking that happens first before anything can be called paranormal or even unexplained or even inconclusive. There is so much that goes into this. And so many people will come up to me or they'll send me pictures with orbs in them. Orbs. And it's dust. And a lot of people don't understand the difference between dust and a true orb. And it's not anybody's fault. This is just something that a lot of these TV shows, like Ghost Adventures, what is that, the Psychic Medium or whatever I forget a lot of the paranormal shows that are going on right now. I know Ghost Hunters was on for a long time. I know they're not on anymore. And then there is, or the Paranormal Medium. I can't remember. But there's a lot. There's a lot on there. And, hold on 1 second. But, yes, because of all this, there is so much confusion. And they don't go into in-depth because it's not meant really for education. It's really just meant to expose people to show paranormal activity is a real thing and it does happen and it is something to be acknowledged and respected, and the field of it is to be respected. And that's where a lot of people don't understand the point of paranormal shows. And I understand completely that a lot of people don't understand this because there's a lot of people that aren't really raised or even just well versed into paranormal activity, paranormal experiences, or even paranormal shows. So that's what we are here to talk about today. All of this stuff, about the orbs and photos and other things. There was actually a paranormal investigation. Christy, I believe you were on that investigation too. One of the claims in this private home was they were hearing footsteps in their hallways. The best way to understand the difference in orbs and dust is to study it by video first. You'll learn so much about the way it moves, lights up. Yes, exactly, completely. Sorry, my trash is getting on fire. But I have apple cider, so I put it out, hopefully. Oh, I see a little ember. Little tiny ember. There we go. It's out. Yay for liquids. Yes. Understanding light and reflection, even through insects, because there are very, very small, teeny tiny insects that fly in front of IR camera lights that look like orbs just floating around doing their own thing, and it's, oh my god, it's mysterious, oh my god, it's something paranormal, oh my god, we captured a ghost on camera, and it's actually an insect. This is something real that does happen, and a lot of people need to understand why paranormal investigating is so important. So, when it comes to orbs, we'll go from orbs and we'll go from here. So, orbs are self-illuminating, right? Pearl asks. Yes, orbs have their own real true orb. They emit their own light. They actually have like a core. And I've actually learned through Christy and even through other paranormal investigators, whenever they analyze a photo, mainly a photo, they do it through videos as well, they will go and do a filter on it that makes it into a negative. And that actually causes it to be a little clearer to see whether or not there is a core in this orb. And that does help validate whether or not this is something inconclusive or paranormal or what have you. So when there is that core, there is a light illuminating off of it, that does actually help conclude that it is an actual paranormal experience, a paranormal capture. So when it comes to dust oftentimes is very translucent, and it just appears as like a circle, and sometimes you'll even see dots inside of it. And dust does get illuminated through security cameras. Now, the thing to understand about security cameras is that they are actually, my boyfriend has joined us, paranormal events. Yes, thank you. Paranormal events. Yes. So when it comes to the security cameras, they have a night vision setting, automatic. And their night vision setting is through the IR lights, or infrared lights. This is something that's not seen through the negative eye, or the natural eyes. You cannot see this naturally. It is seen through cameras. And another example of an IR light is actually through your TV remotes. The little bulb that you see on your TV remotes, that is an actual IR light that goes through the sensors of your DVD, your TV, DVR even, your cable box. So it's something that you will not see in person. If you get a camera though, and you press the buttons, you will see a light come on. And that is an infrared light, or IR light. And that is what security cameras use. Kirby has joined us. Don't people and animals also emit IR light? No, that is through a reflection through the iris. So we do not emit an IR light. That is just through a reflection that happens in your pupils, in your eyes. There is, I don't really know anatomy of the eye very well, but there is a film in your eye that actually does cause you to reflect that IR light in your eyes. So in security cameras, you will see people's eyes appear as white because it is reflecting that IR light. But that, again, is not something that you will see in person. That is something that you will only see through a camera lens. So with that being said, with us now knowing about infrared lights, dust is reflective, and dust does reflect the IR lights. Now, dust is not always seen by the natural eyes. It is not always just seen. Sometimes you have to see it through a certain angle of a light to where then you can finally see the dust just kind of floating through the air. Otherwise, you wouldn't see it. Because of this, it is actually seen through security cameras. So whenever there are security cameras in a building and you are on a paranormal investigation, or if you're just looking through security cameras through whatever means, whether you be a security man that's actually in a surveillance room or what have you, you can actually see those, and a lot of the times people mistake those as a paranormal event, and it's not. My boyfriend says particles are only seen when light hits them from behind. Not necessarily, not from behind. Dust is seen straight on. Excuse me. Oh, you probably mean through a natural light. Yes, so through a natural light. For camera means. Well, my personal experience when it comes to dust in an infrared light, you can see it straight on through a natural camera lens, and there doesn't have to be a backlight or anything. You can actually just see it through a straight on headlight where the IR light is actually surrounding the camera lens. And these are the camera lenses or cameras that are in the museum where I work at. So we actually do, we used to actually go through our security room a lot. And so a lot of my coworkers would see a lot of these orbs in the Dybbuk box room. And I had to tell her, I was like, no, this is dust. And she was very adamant, and I felt really bad because I didn't want her to feel stupid or anything, because that is not what I am about at all. I'm just strictly about educating people And just because you are seeing a lot of orbs on a camera doesn't make it a paranormal event at all. And whenever you see a photo with a bunch of scattered orbs, that's not paranormal either. I hate to say it, but a lot of people think that it is, especially whenever they take a camera to a cemetery and they take a picture like that. It's like, no, you actually just need a microfiber cloth to clean your lens. That's what you need to do. So it does suck, and I feel really bad whenever this happens. Now, there actually has been a paranormal thing. Yeah, no dust in a cemetery. Well, actually, technically, there can be dust in a cemetery. It depends on the cemetery. If it is a very dirt-filled cemetery, like actually in Goldfield, they have a cemetery that's basically just dirt. There's no grass really anywhere. So, thanks, babe. Making a joke. You're wonderful. Now, so anyway, to stay on track, there are a lot of elements that you have to take in account when it comes to dealing with orbs. And this is, again, something as simple as orbs. It actually is a very complicated process to be able to either debunk or prove that something is paranormal. And it's just so complex to where a lot of people think it's so easy. Oh, this is paranormal. No, there's a lot of work that goes into this, which is why paranormal investigating is so important. And which is why, for my personal group that I run, I'm all about educating people. I'm all about teaching them the importance of paranormal investigating, as well as the importance of understanding each level of each thing. So, to continue with the orbs, because this is going to be a long one, orbs are very easily mistaken as a paranormal event, and it's not. To me personally, because I've been in paranormal investigating for so long, I can easily look at a photo and judge whether or not something is a paranormal event or not. I had actually put my phone on notifications to be muted for an hour, and for some reason it didn't go through. So hold on, there we go. Okay, perfect. No more interruptions. So, when it comes to indoor or outdoor, there are elements you have to take into account. When it's outdoor, you have to understand that there are insects as well as dust, but as well as other elements. You have to take into account for the wind. Is the wind blowing? Is the wind not blowing? Is there maybe a subtle breeze that isn't detected really through the trees that you can see in the background or anything? Or is there any way that you can tell that the air is still? And so, like, if you ever do capture an orb, you can tell whether or not it is an insect or if it is an actual orb. Insects do also reflect the IR light. Now, just like in natural daylight, insects do reflect light. A lot of them do. And they're even tiny, tiny, tiny little gnats, fruit flies, even smaller insects that I've actually come across. Jesus Christ, there's another web. What the hell is happening? Ah! There is a spider around here and I'm gonna light it on fire. Okay, sorry. I don't like spiders. Oh, there's a web going from my tripod to my light. Oh my god. Shiny materials will also bounce light back to you that look like orbs as well, says Christy. Yes. So, yes, there are all kinds of things that can cause orbs. Reflections off of windows, mirrors, anything reflective can cause an orb. And this is always something that has actually caused a lot of problems when it comes to paranormal investigating, because even when you use just like a handheld camera that has a night vision setting, you oftentimes will have your own little extended IR light. And that's so you're not supposed to play with Hiei anyway. Go. It's okay. Sorry, my youngest. I've told her to not come out here, and she did. Oh well. Anyway. So yes. when you are doing a handheld camera system with its own little extended IR light and everything, and you're doing a paranormal investigation, you have to take an account for every reflective thing around you. This does also include photos. My boyfriend says he's not even allowed to play with Hiei. Nobody's allowed to play with Hiei. Anyway. Subject. Stay on. Focus. Okay. So yes. Even photo frames, because they have that glass covering, they are reflective and they will cause orbs to be seen. And a lot of the times we would even go through the review and we would say, oh my God, did we just capture an orb? And we had to go back, look over it several times and see the motion of people or the motion of the camera and see where that orb is going. Now this does also include people with their own IR lights. And if they're shining flashlights or IR lights at other reflective things, you will get an orb in your camera, and you will have to sit there and wonder or just look back and try to think back even in those moments. Okay, where were they? Where was I? Could this have been a reflection that's been bounced off? And that does take a lot of time, and it does suck because it's not so easy, but it makes it worthwhile when you actually do capture something and you know for a fact that it is not anything that can be explained, that it is in fact something that is paranormal or what have you. And it makes it worthwhile in that instance, and it makes it really amazing in that instance. So it's a lot of hard work. There's even more to it than just those things, but just to kind of help keep this moving along, I'm going to move this along now to like other means in the paranormal. Footsteps. Oh my God. The amount of times that people have told me that they've heard footsteps in their homes or in their businesses. If I had $1 for every time, I would be a very wealthy woman. So, footsteps are often debunked very easily too. This actually isn't really anything that does require a lot of research or anything into it. First and foremost, you have to understand the physics of buildings, the physics of homes. And with this, there are a lot of the times where you could be on one side of the house walking around and you can be causing creaking and noises that sound like footsteps or movement on this side of the house. Sound travels in very weird ways, and sound also just travels through floorboards, especially if you have crawl spaces or basements, but also the physics of homes where they are balanced on these grounds that are oftentimes soft, and they cause these things to not be so even. So when you are over here, it's causing pressure over here to be released or even move. So there's all these things that go into debunking footsteps. But the very basic debunking that I always do is I always ask them, before I go over to your house to investigate, do me a favor, and the next time you hear your footsteps, pay attention to the AC unit. This does, for winter or summer, whenever it is cold and you turn on that heater, the air ducts will expand. In the summertime, when you turn on the AC, they're already expanded from the heat, and they will oftentimes contract from the cold, and it will cause popping, and that popping causes footstep sounds. Kirby says, and then the cat finds a way in between the floor and ceiling. Yeah, that is too. That actually is a real thing you also have to take into account, is the location. Are there wild animals around? Are there feral cats? Are there loose dogs? Are there raccoons or possums or all kinds of things that could also be causing these noises underneath the house or even in air ducts or whatnot? So it's all of these that you'd have to take an account for, and you have to take that all into consideration as to understanding whether or not something is a true paranormal event. Now, when it comes to footsteps, I have had experiences where I have experienced a true paranormal event with footsteps happening right before me. And that was absolutely amazing. It was awesome. It was really fun and cool. And it's almost like an adrenaline rush, because it's like when you're hearing those footsteps and you're standing right there and there's nobody there, and it's like you can even feel the steps on the carpet right in front of you. God, it's so cool. It's just kind of like, whoa, that is awesome. So again, all of these things, when it comes to debunking, not ever is it at any way supposed to be demeaning, diminishing, ridiculing, or even calling anybody ignorant or stupid or anything like that. It is all to educate, and it is all in the means of understanding something that is truly paranormal versus something that is just very easily explained. And that is what paranormal investigating is supposed to be all about. Now, I do have some personal opinions when it comes to certain groups as well as certain shows that are not all about that. And I hate that I have to say that, but there really is just a lot of hype between these shows, and I don't blame them. I mean, they have to go for where the views are, you know, where it is for them to get their income, because this is how you pay your crew for your equipment to be able to travel and do these things. So I don't blame them for just making it all about the hype and everything, and like all about the action and the evidence and this and that, their other. I just personally wish there were more paranormal shows strictly about educating. So that way we don't have to have these paranormal investigating groups where you can actually just go on a ghost hunt and have some fun and capture some evidence and take it home with you. Or, you know, just actually, you know, or just live with a ghost in your house if that's what you so choose. You know, it's like, it's all these things that I really wish there was this level of normality with the paranormal, that it's actually still very taboo, still very, oh, ghosts aren't real, or oh, this, that, or other. And it's fine. It's fine. I like ghosts. I like the paranormal. I like all that stuff. In case if you haven't noticed, I like that stuff. But yes. So, on from footsteps. Let me see. Let's see. Footsteps, orbs, those are the main two that I get asked about a lot. There is also, oh, electronics. Kirby says, ghosts to most people are just ancient aliens, Halloween edition. Yeah, I believe it. I see it. Here, let me clean my lens real quick. I feel like it's very, kind of blurred, so maybe my face grease just got on it. That looks better, actually. Yeah, looks clear. Okay, so electronics. I've actually been seeing this influx of daily vloggers, and this is actually because of my mother telling me about this, not because I watch a lot of daily vloggers, but a lot of these family daily vloggers as well, where they are experiencing paranormal things with haunted lamps or haunted ceiling fans. Oh, it drives me nuts. Whenever anybody tells me, they're all like, oh, my lamp is haunted, I'm just like, I don't think you know what that means. But okay. It's definitely, electronics are definitely not anything that I personally take into account for with anything paranormal. Personally, this is definitely not every paranormal investigator's view. This is just my personal view. Whenever anybody tells me anything that is electronic based is wigging out or acting strange, I don't believe it. My initial reaction immediately is, there's probably something wrong with it. You should fix it. So I know it sounds mean, and I'm sorry. I don't mean to, but seriously, There are so many things that are just constantly wrong with electronics nowadays. Things that just don't work right. They're not made right. They're faulty. Their wires are dying. Batteries are not working right. Or, just there's so many things. And there's really no way to really tell unless you really just take it completely apart and, just figure out and see for yourself. But then again, you have to be an electrician to understand how the wires work and know if the wires are dead or not, and yada yada yada, and so on and so forth. So a lot of the times I tell people, okay, maybe try to get something different, maybe like especially if it's a lamp or if it's a ceiling fan. I tell them change out the bulbs, change out the batteries to your remote, or maybe just get a new lamp. Or if it's a ceiling fan, I tell them, maybe take an EMF meter to it and see if it's emitting a large amount of an EMF field. EMF stands for electromagnetic field, and this is a very real thing that happens in electronics. And EMF fields are not safe for humans. But that being said, too, EMF fields can also be a detector that something is electronically wrong, where there's a frayed wire or an exposed wire of some sort that could actually be causing the faultiness in that electronic. So I always recommend that to people and everything. And, there is definitely theories out there where there are paranormal happenings that are happening just to electronics. That for some reason the entity is just attracted to electronics and is just possessing or messing with those things. Now, in that particular case, that can actually be proven by just bringing in random electronics, random lamps or toys or gadgets with batteries and whatnot, and just watching them freak out and everything, and that can be really cool. But you can also use a K2 meter or an EMF meter and just use that as a way of communicating. Now, still, I would personally think that, maybe there's just something with that room that's causing like some kind of magnetic field that's making electronics wig out. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. It's just really hard for me when it comes to electronics. I personally don't like hearing about, oh, my TV is haunted. Sure. Sorry, I see a little reflection over here. Okay, that's just a dog hair. Or something, I don't know. But I'm just making sure there's not a web on me again. Ugh, because that would not be kosher. I wonder where that spider went. Hope it's not on my tripod. Anyway, okay, so Kirby says FCC certification is all about putting the device in a quiet room and recording all the EMF junk it sends out. Well, EMF meters there's all different kinds. There's K2 meters, there's digital meters, there's all different kinds. There's even analog meters that have a needle that will spike and will even make noises when it gets to a certain level. You got to do your research as to how to work those, because there are different settings, and you need to understand what those different settings are and what they mean and which to use for what thing. Because there are some for, there's a tri-field EMF meter that has like microwaves as well as EMF waves that it can detect and everything. So you got to understand how to use the objects before you use them, of course. But light switches, refrigerators, ovens, microwaves, computers, printers, cell phones even. I actually almost looked to grab my cell phone because I actually have a special sticker on the back end of my phone that is actually specifically made to help minimize the EMF fields that come out of a cell phone, because they are dangerous. Now, with that being said, when it comes to EMF fields in general, it can cause anything from hallucinations to body rashes, nausea, migraines, headaches, all kinds of things. So EMF fields are very dangerous. They are not the greatest thing to be around. They are definitely something to stay away from, and definitely something that you need to go through your house and make sure that you know where your EMF fields are. So that way, if you are in those EMF field areas by any means, whether it be by your computer or on your bed, that something in the wall is creating an EMF field, or even your ceiling fan is creating an EMF field. You need to know where those fields are, so that way whenever you do think that you are experiencing something paranormal, that you can logically explain to yourself, I am in an EMF field right now. Maybe I should get up and walk away from this because it's making me paranoid. I might start hallucinating, and that's not safe. So definitely understand the dangers of EMF fields. Understand too that EMF fields do cause you to be paranoid and have hallucinations. So that is also why it's important to know where the EMF fields are in your house or in your place of business, so that way you know that whenever you think you are experiencing something paranormal, it's actually something very easily explained, and you are safe, you are fine, you don't have to worry. So there's that. Sorry, my nose is running because it's actually like really cold out here, and I even have a blanket. I have a blanket on my lap and everything. So I just really hope there's not a spider on me. Jesus Christ, I keep freaking out about that. I don't like spiders. Okay. See, like, I will deal with ghosts, demons, all kinds of things. I'll handle them any given day. All day long, I'll deal with it. But you put a spider in front of me, a clown in front of me, or just some weird person, like, I will freak out. I have always actually said, I prefer the paranormal or ghosts over humans, because at least with ghosts, they actually have rules to follow by, and they have a system that you can know about and everything. Whereas with people, they're very unpredictable. And you just never know. Hey, Ted Bundy was actually known as a very sweet guy. Just saying. He was a good talker. So anyway. Oh, helicopters, really? Such is my luck, man. Such is my luck. Let me see. Okay, so we've gone over orbs, footsteps, electronics, shadows, shadow people. I mean, that is definitely more on that specifics of something actually being paranormal. But again, it goes into that whole EMF situation where you have to know that you are not hallucinating. You have to know that you are not in a situation next to an EMF field to make sure that you know that what you are seeing is something of a hallucination or something that is actually legitimate. Especially when it comes to older buildings. They have a lot of EMF field problems. There was actually a place in Boulder City. It was a very old home. It was built a long time ago. I think it was actually built during the time when they were still building the Hoover Dam, and we were investigating it, and I just barely stuck my head in one of the closets, and instantly I was slammed with this intense, hard headache, and I was just like, oh, there's an EMF field in there. Oh, okay, I'm gonna go step outside for a minute. But, yeah, so definitely understand the importance. Now, when it comes to, let's talk a little bit about legitimate hauntings and everything. How to know that you are having a legitimate paranormal event. There are many, many ways to go about this. I personally, whenever I know that I'm somewhere in a true paranormal place, haunted place, what have you, whatever you want to call it, a paranormal location, if you will, the best way that I always handle things is doing the shave and a haircut. It's actually something I've gotten responses for. I have actually learned that I am actually experiencing a true paranormal happening, and it's really cool, and I do shave and a haircut and responds back, and I'm just like, oh, it answered me. So it's fun, and I always recommend people, whenever you think that you are in a paranormal location, experiencing a paranormal event, try doing shaving a haircut. It's something universal. It's something that's been around for many, many, many years. Definitely try it and see if it works for you to get a response. The amount of helicopters needs to stop. Good Lord. Oh, it's the police too. I can't be mad. Kirby sent a bunch of emojis of setting a spider on fire and helicopters on fire. Yeah, death to all spiders. Seriously. It's just, it didn't start off well. This live stream started off with me having a string of a web from my hat to my phone. That was not fun. And now there's a string of a web from the tripod to the lamp. So at least I know it's over there. Somewhere, hopefully, it just continued on going that way, and it's nowhere near me, because holy fuck, I'm about to freak out. Yeah, I just don't like spiders. I really don't like spiders. I need a flashlight. Oh, hey! Joseph Carity. Is that you, Joe, or is that Kari on Joe's account? And sorry, Kirby, I didn't see what your response was. The string is actually paranormal. There you go, Kirby. And Joe says, no, it's him. Hey, Joe. Oh, no. Or is that Kari? Kari or Joe? You gotta be specific. It's one of those days for me. It's one of those days. But, yeah, no, to catch you up. Kari. Okay, it's Kari. Hi, Kari. So, to catch you up, Kari, what you've missed is we've actually been talking about the importance of paranormal investigating and why it's so important, like dealing with orbs, talking about orbs and knowing the differences between orbs. My boyfriend says, I knew I felt the presence of evil because he likes to mess with Kari. Oh boy, this is going to be a fun live stream. Anyway, so yeah, we were talking about the importance of understanding the difference between real orbs, dust, or insects, knowing the difference between whether you are inside or outside. Oh yeah, actually that is something I didn't really go into much detail about. When you are outside, yes, you have to understand that there are more insects than there is dust, but when you are inside, you do have to understand that there is dust, especially take into account as to your location. If you are in a more humid, dense area, there might not be a lot of dust, but typically here in the US, especially when you are in a more humid area, that actually means that you are in an older town, which means you are probably in an older building that actually does have a lot of dust. So you have to take that into account. And here in Vegas, it is very dusty here. Very dusty. You can dust your entire house and the very next day it looks like you've done nothing. Like it's just back to the way it was. It's so dusty here. So in every single paranormal investigation I go into, I really don't even really pay attention a lot to the orbs because there's so much dust. A lot of the times you're not even going to capture an orb. More than likely you're going to capture a shadow or some kind of like EVP, things like that. But when it comes to dust on the inside of the house, there is also bugs you do have to take into account for, because bugs do get inside your home, and especially those little teeny tiny bugs that I've mentioned before. Now that is definitely something that can cause a lot of confusion when you are investigating a home and you see something that is reflective and it's moving around. It's not flowing in the same direction as the dust is, because dust will flow in the same direction, especially if it's by an air duct or anything. If the camera is by an air duct or by a fan or anything, dust will move in a very general same direction. Now, it won't be in a uniform. You will get some dust pieces that will go backwards while everything's going in one direction. It happens. Air moves in cycles. It moves in flows. It goes backwards. It flows around. You have to understand the physics of air movement before going into a paranormal investigation and just calling orbs ghosts. We don't do that. We don't call dust ghosts or orbs. We don't. Stop doing that, people. Okay, so I'm sorry. That is seriously such a big pet peeve of mine. I really sympathize and understand that people want answers, and plus a lot of people do find that Kirby Swenson says, I'll never understand the physics of air movement. Best way to do it, play with a fog machine. Or if you smoke, play with, you know, the smoke that you blow out. If you know anybody with a vape, watch the smoke when they blow out that vape air. You will actually see how air moves and how it kind of billows out and how it cycles around and how it just goes in all these different directions. It doesn't all go in the same way. I found a lot of ghost residue on the fan. Thanks, dear. That was my smart-ass boyfriend. Anyway, so yes, there's a lot to air movement. You can play with a fog machine if you don't smoke or if you don't know anybody that smokes. You can just get like a really cheap, really inexpensive fog machine and play with it and see how the air moves. See when the air is still, and then you walk through it and see how the clouds just move and they billow and they circle around and everything. And that will actually help you understand air movement a lot better. So when you actually do experience something with security cameras or whatever, and you are seeing dust and people are saying, oh, it's orbs, you will actually, hey, Sakura! You will actually be able to see it and understand and go, no, actually that's dust, and here's why. And then you'll be able to pass on that knowledge. So definitely feel free to experiment, you know. Do what you can to experiment with some kind of smoke to where you can actually physically see the movement of air, if that makes sense at all. Dry ice too. Dry ice works. So I'm sorry. I keep looking at that web because I'm just like so freaking paranoid. I swear that spider's gonna come back and there's gonna be another web going right back to my hat, and I'm just gonna be like, oh. I don't know. Oh man. Oh yeah, Kari, you missed that. I started my live stream with a string of a web from my hat to my phone, and then now there is a string of web from the tripod to my light. And yeah, I've been freaking out about the spider this entire live stream. It's been fun. It's been interesting. Yeah, you indeed. You indeed. But yeah. Oh yeah, we also talked about footsteps. Whenever you hear footsteps in a house, there's the physics of a home, how houses are built, and a lot of the times are built on soft land, and also there's just, you know, the physics of a house too, where you could be on one side and on the other, and also air ducts, how they expand and contract during summer or winter for heating or cooling. And there was also electronics, how I absolutely hate hearing about electronics being haunted. Absolutely hate it. I think that is very silly. Very silly. And I'm sorry. I know a lot of people very much believe in electronics being possessed, but I just can't. I physically can't. I can't even. Cannot even. It drives me nuts. But yeah, I'm repping work today. Zach Bagan's Haunted Museum. Woo! And actually, Zach was doing a live stream earlier today, and my mom was actually watching it. And I'm just like, really, Mom? Really? She's like, I'm just watching. It's interesting. He's got a lot to say. I'm like, he's exhausted. I think he was a little inebriated, but I mean, you know, to each their own. If he was just tired, then hey, good on him for doing a live stream while being tired, because he rambled. He was even questioning the pronunciation of Oregon. That was funny. That's my boss. He signs my checks. It's so weird to think that. Any questions so far? Any questions for the ghost girl? Kirby says, if the paranormal wanted to mess with your phone, they'd have to focus on more than 1 million things a second. Yeah, actually, that is something to take into consideration. I'm glad you brought that up, Kirby. Speaking of haunted electronics, says Kari. Oh, no. What about your haunted Elmo? Oh, okay. You know what? You're right. You make a good point. I'll mention that in a little bit. But to answer what Kirby was saying, when it comes to, like, possessing the one from the closet. Oh, God. I don't like that. Elmos are not allowed in this house. And I am sorry to my boyfriend, but when we move in, Elmos will not be allowed into that house either. I'll get into that story in just a minute. But to answer what Kirby was saying about cell phones and electronics and everything, there actually is, you know, I've mentioned this before. I have a personal theory of that when it comes to paranormal experiences, spirits have an energy range that they have to go by. I call it their battery. Now, no, I do not see Elmos in your house, dear, but I'm just letting you know. I'm just informing you. Anyway, I call it their battery, and anytime they do anything, whether it be touching you, pulling on your clothes, speaking, even talking into an audio recorder for an EVP, an electronic voice phenomenon, that takes a bit of their battery each and every time. And because of that, they do tend to drain batteries out of cameras or phones or whatever electronic is around as a way to charge themselves. Now, this actually has been something that I personally have experienced with brand new batteries in a flashlight that have gone completely dead with only an hour into a paranormal investigation. So that is definitely something that I do experience. Not necessarily saying that the electronics are haunted, but that they are being used as a way to charge a spirit or entity for them to be able to do something paranormal in return. Now, with that, with cell phones being the way that they are, there's one under your bed. Thanks, Car. Thanks, Car. Yeah, no, there's not an Elmo under my bed. There's probably a spider under my bed, but not an Elmo. Elmos are forbidden here. So cell phones do carry a battery, but they're not that great of a battery. And plus, a lot of batteries are lithium ions now. And I don't know. Oh, not yours, Isaacs. Oh boy, you guys are going to start a war in my comment section, aren't you? Anyway. So I don't know if there definitely is a difference in between using energies from typical traditional batteries as to what we are used to using versus lithium ion batteries. I don't know if there actually is a hindrance to the spirits as to using that energy for them to recharge themselves. I actually do want to do an experiment with that and see if there actually is a difference, and if there actually is an ability where they can't use that energy, they can't draw off that battery. Now, that would definitely be something interesting that I would be really interested to do an experiment on. Oh boy, yep, my boyfriend and my best friend are starting a comment war in my comment section. Anyway. So anyway. Now when it comes to Elmos being banned from my house, skin... Kirby says, did you skin a Tickle Me Elmo? Those things are damn creepy. Or is this about the projector? Okay, so when I was a lot younger, my sister had an obsession with collecting Elmos. She had a huge collection of Elmos, mainly Tickle Me Elmos, and that's when the Tickle Me Elmo fad and hype and everything was huge at that time. And so my sister actually did have quite a lot of them. She was spoiled. Anyway, she says the same thing about me. She says I was spoiled as hell, but anyway, that could be debated. So when it comes to the Tickle Me Elmos, Of course, the batteries started to die and they started to warp in their voices, and it sounded very creepy and weird. It was like we would walk into the room, and for some reason, even though they are button activated, they would activate just from us walking into the room. Now, granted, this could be through static electricity, some kind of static being charged through our feet or through our shoes or something, and it went through the bed because we did have metal frame beds, and it could have sparked and ignited some trigger in the machine. Now, that being said, it would always do this ha 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 ha, play with Elmo, and it was just like, oh shit, what is happening? So we didn't like them very much, and we ended up taking the batteries out. Now, with that being said, they still would go off. I know. Creepy as all hell, right? Oh my god, that was actually like the freakiest thing that's ever happened to me. Like when it comes to like really freaking me out to where I've actually ran out of the room. I knew that the batteries were out of that Elmo. I knew there was no way for that to turn on, and I walked in the room and I heard it do the ha 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 ha, play with Elmo. And I was just like, oh, fuck this. And I just ran out of there and I was like, Mom, we need to burn it. It needs to be burned. So many different ways. Let's just do that right now. So, yeah, needless to say that my sister stopped collecting Elmos. I mean, she just stopped collecting Elmos anyways because she actually did have quite a lot of them, but also her interest in the whole Tickle Me Elmo thing was kind of dying. She was getting over it, so. And this was my older sister, not my younger sister, just to put that on the record, because I'm the baby. I'm the youngest. I forget, did you end up burning it, asked Kari? No, we didn't burn it. We got rid of it. I can't remember what we did. Pearl asked, Pearl said, daughters once had a motion-activated puppy that would go off when they were at school. Ooh. Kirby says, have you watched any horror movies? You don't burn dolls. Oh, yeah. Because of Chucky. Pearl said, never been so happy to toss a toy. Yeah, you know, actually, my kids, when they were babies, of course, we had a bunch of toys, and especially baby toys, especially that would light up when you hit the buttons or if you did anything. And, yeah, we ended up getting rid of every single one of them because, yeah, they would go off just very randomly, too. Kari says, Amy has toys that go off in the middle of the night. Oh, God. Take out the batteries. Take out the batteries, Car. What are you doing? I want to take this light. I'm actually going to take the lighter to the web over here because, holy cow, it's freaking me out. I can't stop looking at it. There. Now it's just flying free in the wind. Plus, I just detached its rope, so it's not going to come back. Or maybe it'll make a new one. Anyway. Kari says it's like Schrodinger's cat. As long as the batteries are in, we don't know if it's a ghost or not. I like that. Stop getting electronic stuffed animals. Yeah, no, I'm just... I like the Schrodinger's cat thing. That was funny, Kari. That was awesome. I really like that. Jesus Christ. Yeah. That was Joe's funny joke. Oh, well then tell Joe. I give him credit. Everything is electronic nowadays, says Pearl. Yes. Pretty much everything is electronic nowadays. The only thing you can really get anything that's not electronic, or if it's just purely a stuffed animal, or if it's actually, thanks, eh? Fucking Joe. Or if you get like those really, wooden blocks, or even like the solid plastic little toys, like the Shopkins things. My kids are obsessed with those currently. Especially like the little teeny tiny hatch animals, whatever they're called. The little teeny ones that you get to collect them and everything. I will never buy a really big one. I actually used to have a Furby, and I don't know what happened to it because according to my family, it became possessed and they got rid of it without telling me. And I still to this day don't know what happened to it. I don't know if the house swallowed it. That is a story I have to share one of these days. I'm actually going to do a video on that one of these days because holy cow, this house has swallowed things and it's very weird when it does happen. This house is definitely haunted. We actually have on record that a man actually did die in this house. He died of cancer. I don't know if it was in my room or if it was in my girl's room, but I don't know. But anyway, Pearl says there is a Hatchimal upstairs right now, the big one. Oh no. Oh no. I've actually heard about how those things cuss and everything. I've seen the videos and everything where it's like purring and it's saying a certain phrase and it's just like, they are creepy indeed, Pearl. That's why I won't get my kids ones. They ask me all the time for a Hatchimal, a big Hatchimal, and I'm just like, hell no. No. When you're 18, you can buy your own, but right now, no. Hell no. There is not going to be a Hatchimal in this house. Not a Furby, not a Hatchimal. Although I did think about getting one of the newer Furbies because they actually did look really cool. But the fact that they can actually like just activate whenever they want it or like, and they learn the language, they learn to speak back. I'm just like, first off, that Furby would be cussing a lot because I cuss a lot. But also, this house has a habit of possessing stuffed animals and toys very randomly. So it's like, nah, I'm good. Which is so weird for me to say because I really don't like it when electronics are possessed. Skin the Hatchimal, says Kirby. I agree. Pearl says that's a big nope. Yeah. Oh god. This house is very weird, I have to say. Like, I have, Pearl says we finally got into our new house. Oh, nice! Congrats! Yeah, we've actually, my parents have lived in this house for, this year will be 25 years, I think. December of 2018, I believe, will be 25 years. But, yeah, I've grown up in this house. I know this house better than the back of my hand. But yeah, there's so many weird things that have happened in this house. And, I love it here. I love this house. But, I really wish it was mine, because I would really doll up this house to look really cute. Really witchy, too. Because, of course. I have offered to my parents to doll up the house some, and my mom is worried about me hurting myself, and of course my dad's all about like, no, I'm the fixer-upper, I'm the man of the house, and so of course it's like, okay, well, alright. I offered. Any other questions for you guys? Any other questions? Because I'm just standing here, or sitting here, being very awkward. It's what I do. Pearl says I'm all questioned out. Yeah, I think everybody is. You guys have been following my live streams for a while, so you guys have been asking a lot of questions. Aw, Kari says, by the way, you look pretty. Thank you, Kari. And my boyfriend says I'm enjoying the view. I get awkward when people compliment me. I just kind of curl up and I'm just like, oh, thank you. I don't know. I don't know why. I really don't know why I do. Even like when people compliment me at work. Please stop it. Stop it. I like curl up and like I cringe. It's really weird. Kirby says, what are your thoughts on spells and curses? Very good question, Kirby. Thank you so much for saving me. Okay, so yes, spells and curses. I am actually a Wicca. I'm I'm getting back into being a Wicca, I should say. I was very heavily into being a Wicca when I was really young. Thank you, dear. Very kind. God, anyway, what was I saying? Yes, I was... it just throws off everything. When I was very young, I was like 11, 12 years old, my dad actually bought me my very first Wicca book. And my boyfriend's a suck up. He is, but he's also actually really truly that night. Oh, what was that? What was that car? I didn't see what you said. I was trying to catch it, but it disappeared on me. But, yeah, I'm trying to get back into being a Wicca and everything. Now, when it comes to curses... Oh, okay. Time for Amy's last show. Gotta go. We love you. Oh, okay. Bye, Kari. I love you very much, and I will see you tomorrow. Thank you, Pearl. Thank you. Love you guys. Thank you for joining the live stream. But yes, so when it comes to curses, in the law of Wicca, there is the law of the threefold. Now, the threefold law is basically like the law of karma. It's like whatever you put out gets put back onto you. But the threefold law is that it gets put on you 3 times that amount. And so when it comes to curses, I do know for a fact they do exist. I've known so many stories and so many objects and people that have been cursed that actually have had their lives completely ruined by curses. But when it comes to the actual person that has placed that curse, nothing is ever heard about them. And that's where I don't understand, like, you know, I want to know what happened to that person that is claimed or put on that curse, on whether it be an object or a person. I would like to know what happened to them because of the law of the threefold. And through that, I think there's a lot of misconceptions, whereas people think that, like, black magic is just, you know, it's just something that people tend to play around with, and they either don't take it seriously or they just place curses on everything. And I don't know too much. Not that I don't know too much. I don't know how to really put it into words, because I have a lot of mixed feelings about it, because logically curses don't make sense, and there's really, you know, there's so much to it that just doesn't quite add up. And but I have seen it come into play, and I've seen it actually be cursed, and seen people be cursed, and things happen to them that is completely unexplained, where like they just can't get out of a stream of bad luck, and like no matter what they do and everything. And it's another helicopter, great. So it's definitely something that I personally, my boyfriend asked, do you feel Hollywood's take on the paranormal take away from the reality or entice... crap. I didn't catch it again! Just send an emoji or something. Spells, on the other hand, spells are different. Spells are definitely for more positivity. They're more for... Oh, thank you, Pearl. Or entice new and future investigators. I will get to your question in just a moment, babe. But to finish what I was saying, when it comes to spells, they are more meant for one's own... something that they are personally out to get. Something, whether it be... Hey, Sakura! I am in the middle of a live stream. How rude. She's next to me now. She's good. And another. So, yes, when it comes to spells, it's all about your intent. That is the whole basis through a spell. So you have to be very focused, and you have to understand what your true intent is before you go through making a spell. And it is about like attracting wealth or attracting health or whatever it is that you are wanting in your life. Does it necessarily work? I don't know. I do think it's all about attracting energies to you. So whether you want to attract positive energies towards you, you are out for that. You put a lot of focus into that. I hate to say it, but it is along that same basis of the book The Secret. Now, I don't agree with the book The Secret entirely. I do think that book was definitely a scam just because of what they were charging for that book. The fact of that book being like this truly wonderful, magical thing, it shouldn't have been charged. It should have just been a free book that anybody could have grabbed, in my personal opinion. Or if anything, it should have just only been $1 because of that. So the fact that they were charging like $25 a book, I just completely disagreed with. And to me, it was just a big scam. Now, to answer my boyfriend's question when it comes to Hollywood, I don't like Hollywood when it comes to dealing with the paranormal. I'm just going to say that now. I don't. I mean, look at this. Look at Annabelle. They butchered the hell out of the story of Annabelle. Now, here's the thing about the story of Annabelle. I have known about the story of Annabelle since I was very young. And on the website, they had the entire story of Annabelle on there before. And when I went to look it up again when that movie was coming out, the story was entirely different. Well, not entirely different, but there was a lot changed to where it was not the original story. Now, the original story that I know about when it comes to Annabelle, what I read on the Warrens page, was that doll, that Raggedy Ann doll, was present in a room of a little girl that was being performed an exorcism on. The mother was afraid of the child. The child was acting strange, bending and contorting her body and everything, so she called a priest. There was an exorcism performed, and the child died. And because of that, the demon inside had nowhere else to go, so it went inside of the doll. And that doll started to do what it did for that girl, where it was just moving very randomly, and the mother didn't change the child's room at all when the child died. She kept it exactly the way that it was, mainly for the memory of her child. And so when the doll kept moving, the mother freaked out, went to get rid of it, and she spied on that doll in like a Goodwill or whatever it was, until she saw this lady buy it, and she asked her, she was like, just curious, what are you buying that doll for? And the mother said, you know, she wanted to give it to her daughter who was in college, and she had a Raggedy Ann doll when she was a kid, and she thought it would be a nice gift for her daughter to have like a little fun memory while she was going through school. And so the woman was acting very strange, and, you know, was basically like, just don't, you know, you could just not. And so the woman thought that the lady was wanting that doll, so she was just like, no, I'm going to buy it. I'm going to give it to my daughter. So, yeah, and then that's when it ended up to that girl, and she started experiencing the weird things with that doll. It started moving, leaving notes, and all kinds of things, and that's when the Warrens came in, and they took the doll. Of course, you know, I'm missing a lot of details, but, you know, of course, the story that we all know, that is actually still on the Warrens website now. It's just about the mother buying the doll and giving it to her daughter that was in college, and the daughter having... Oh, sorry, my battery is actually starting to die, so I got an external battery. I'm smart. So I'm gonna plug this in, and that way we can keep live streaming. Sorry if this is loud for you guys. Very sorry. Trying to plug it in. Come on, work with me. Okay, there we go. Is it charging? I think it is. It's charging! Okay, so to continue. So yeah, Hollywood butchered that story completely. The doll wasn't even anywhere near the same. The doll was a porcelain, ugly, motherfucking looking doll. They purposely made that doll look really insane looking, really creepy, really ugly, stupid, and I hated it. I knew it was going to be a horrible horror movie, and I didn't even bother seeing it, because I saw the previews and I was just like, no. Wooden. Well, it looked porcelain, because of the way that the face was cracked and everything. I don't know if it was wooden or not, but I just hated that it was so different. They could have easily just done a different kind of version of a cloth doll. They didn't have to go to the extremes that they did, and especially making it look so fucking ugly. Really? Really, Hollywood? Really? I hated that. Anyway, sorry. Now when it came to Paranormal Activity, I actually, Pearl said, I thought the idea of a sweet-looking evil doll is way better than the ugly thing. I completely agree. Completely agree. If they actually made the doll look very sweet and innocent, that would have made it way creepier. But the fact that they made it so ugly and really fucked up looking, it was just like, yeah, we're gonna expect creepy shit. So that just totally takes away that whole thrill out of it. But no, yeah, when it came to Paranormal Activity, I actually did personally enjoy that movie all the way up until the end. Now, I'll tell you why. When it comes to extreme paranormal events where you are dealing with a demon, all of those things, pretty much for the entire, first, I want to say, a good first 3/4 of the first Paranormal Activity movie, the very first one. Lighting a cloth doll to be creepy is nearly impossible. So, yeah, who cares? It doesn't have to be lit to be creepy. It could be a very sweet, innocent-looking doll, and it could have been a cloth doll, and it could have been, made out of silk or something. I don't know. Anyway, we're moving on from the Annabelle thing. We're now talking about Paranormal Activity. So, the very first Paranormal Activity movie, yes, the first, 3/4 of that movie, I really liked because it was so really accurate as to what can happen in a demonic situation where you are dealing with a very aggressive demon experience, and that can be extremely scary and terrifying, and all of those things can really happen. I have heard about instances where mattresses were flying across rooms, where friggin' things were just being full on chucked, heavy things full on chucked across the rooms and just shattering and everything, all kinds of insane things. I've heard so many things about happening in actual homes, especially here in Vegas, where they were experiencing a demonic situation. And so seeing that was really freaking cool. And then the ending. That ending made me so pissed off. I seriously wanted my money back at the end of it. I was just like, this was all good until that end. That killed it. I don't ever care to see this ever again. and seriously, but I did see the what was it? The alternate ending. Which end? The ending where she just went rawr at the camera the way that she did, that killed it for me. I was just like, no. Yeah, it was so stupid. I was so pissed off. But seeing the alternative ending where she slit her own throat, that was cool. And that was a lot more accurate that would have happened in that particular situation. I wanted that ending. And I don't know, what about that? Sinister. What about Sinister? What are you talking about? Insidious? Is that what you're talking about? Because I actually haven't seen Insidious. When I saw what... the reason why I haven't seen Insidious, when I saw the images of the demon, I was just like, it's not glitching. Let me know if it is glitching, because I might restart the live stream, because we are an hour in, but... no, Sinister is about a demon that possesses children and compels them to kill their family. It's glitching barely. Okay, well, thank you, Pearl. I knew what you meant, Pearl. Sinister. Okay, so actually, I have to see that in order to give an opinion on that. that definitely is something that can happen, where children are definitely more susceptible. They are a lot more susceptible to demonic or any other things to happen, because they don't understand the differences between something demonic and something that's okay and friendly, because a lot of the times demons do appear to humans either as a small child, or they appear as an enemy, or an animal, sorry. So 1408 and Sinister on Saturday night. 1408, definitely. I've been dying to see that movie. Sinister, maybe. I don't know. 1408 was with John Cusack and Samuel L. Jackson. It's actually about a guy who gets into paranormal investigating. Sakura! Stop antagonizing Boss. My neighbor's dog, Boss, he's the one that hops the wall over here. Every now and then you'll see his head just pop up. But anyway, 1408, yeah, this guy that got into paranormal investigating, he didn't even believe in the paranormal. He was just like, no, paranormal just isn't a thing. He was like, I'd give anything to experience something truly paranormal. But he just didn't believe in any of it. And so he ended up staying in this room that was 1408 in this hotel that was very well known to be haunted. Nobody was really allowed to stay in there, and actually nobody who had stayed in there lasted more than an hour. And they ended up having like this record of multiple people dying in that room. I do believe it is based off of the Cecil Hotel, when he got into it hoping he'd have faith in his daughter having an afterlife. Oh yeah, his daughter had died and he was hoping that his daughter was having an afterlife, and that's what he got into it for. But yeah, it's really intense. It looks really amazing, and it's actually something I've been wanting to watch for years, but nobody wanted to watch it with me, and especially my mother. And a lot of my friends, they just weren't interested in seeing it. They thought it was lame, and I was just like, this isn't lame. This looks pretty legit. Like, I want to see this. And then I ended up forgetting about it until my boyfriend brought it up, and so I'm really excited to see it. That actually looks really cool. How have I not seen this? Oi, yeah, Pearl, seriously. Look up the trailer for 1408. You will be dying to see it. It looks so good. But yeah, oh god, I'm so excited. I am so excited to see it. You know, it's funny, I keep feeling like I have seen it, but I know I haven't. So it's, anyway. Did you rent a studio apartment under a rock at some point? Huh? Dear, who was that question for? Was that for me or for Pearl or what? Oh, how has she not seen it? Living under a rock? Dear God, babe, really? That's mean. I'ma slap you. I do not condone abuse, domestic violence. I spend all my spare in oysters. I am so, like, you guys in the comments, you guys crack me up from time to time, and I love it. But yeah, when it comes to that's really interesting. There's actually something, I don't know if you guys can see this, but there's something reflecting my lights over here that I can only see on my camera. Looks like a little set of eyes. You guys see it? I don't know if you guys see it, but it's actually kind of cool. I'm trying to figure out where that's reflecting from, but I don't know. There's so many things over there that could be reflecting. Oh, douche jar. Yes, dear. Douche jar. Definitely. $5. Had to close the chat to see it. I mean, it could be a cat. I don't think it is, because Sakura would be freaking out. But it looks like a little pair of eyes right there. It's interesting. I'm like, oh, what's reflecting over there? Might be my dad's moped. I don't know. I can't tell. I can't tell what's reflecting because I can't see in the viewfinder or whatever on my phone. I can't see too well as to what that is. Right here. I'm very curious. I think it might be the moped. It kind of looks like the moped, but anyway. He's saying, hey there, you ever drink Baileys from an old shoe? Ever drink Baileys from a shoe? Dear God. Old Greg. If you don't know who old Greg is, you should look that up. It's quite hilarious. It's so, oh my God. It's stupid, but it's funny in a weird way. Anyway. So, yeah, Hollywood on their ways of handling paranormal. Kylo Ren mashup made it. It did. I agree with you there. I do like that the Hollywood has their interest in the paranormal and everything. I personally just wish they were a lot more accurate with it. I understand why that they're not, because of course, accuracy, realism doesn't really attract the masses. It doesn't really attract interest, especially since we've learned from the movie of The Greatest Showman that is all about P.T. Barnum. That is such a fucking lie of a movie. Holy hell. I haven't seen the movie yet, so I can't say for certainty, but just seeing. Kirby said, at least be accurate when they say based on a true story. Thank you. Yes, absolutely, Kirby. Completely agree with you. They get away with saying that it's based on a true story, but the story is so far off from the truth. It's just like, this is not even from the real story. What's sitting in the dark for 4 hours with no activity would pull people in? Yeah, seriously. I mean, there definitely are paranormal stories that can be turned into Hollywood films. Oh, hell, I'm too tired to type. It's okay, Pearl, it's okay. Everything is based on a true story at some point. Really? What about Avatar there, dear? Thanks. Anyway, when it comes to, like, a lot of the horror films and everything, and paranormal stories as well, like, they take it so far out of context, it's not even anywhere near the original story. I mean, look at Annabelle. That's not even anywhere near the entire story. I only saw, like, the first, like, I think, like, half hour, maybe, and, oh, God, it was just so stupid. I didn't care for that. Native American resistance to Eastern invaders in space. Oh, God. Anyway, so, I just... No, dear. Pearl said, it should say extremely loosely based on a true story. Completely agree. That is exactly what they should say. Be like, extremely loosely based off of a real story. Or inspired by a real story. But definitely not based off of a real story. That's just... No. No. I can't stand how Hollywood just kind of like twists their words and everything. Just to get more people to watch it. And it's just like, you know, reality in itself is creepy alone. Look at Ed Gein, for instance. Makes vague references to something an old guy told me in a bar was totally true. Dear, anyway, so... Yeah, no, I really wish that Hollywood was a lot more accurate and there wasn't this, oh... Instead of based on a true story. Oh, yeah. Vaguely based off of a story that a guy told me in a bar. Yeah, that'll work. Yeah, Hollywood exaggerates things such to a point where now it's people expect that exaggeration in films. But it's like, if we never got to that point in the first place, we would be taking reality as that form of entertainment and that level of excitement and everything. But it's because they raise that bar so high every time, and now it's just on this insane level of stupidity that a lot of really not so smart kids get into. Kirby says sometimes Hollywood thinks it's a good idea to reference obscure cultural religious stuff. It usually manages to both offend the culture and justify conspiracy theorist ideas about the world. Completely agree. Yeah, oh my God. Like, this is why we have flat earthers. I hate to say. I don't don't agree with flat earthers. Sorry, I have my stack of crackers over here. That's my snack. My snack. Are you telling us this from YouTube? Well, yeah. Anyway, so, okay. Actually, there was a film that was based off of, I forgot the name of it. I think it's called the Aokigahara forest, the suicide forest that has been all over the news because of fucking Jake Paul, Logan Paul, whatever, one of the Pauls. I don't know which one. They all look the same to me, and they're both idiots. So, that's just my opinion. I don't care to be correct there, dear. Yes. That suicide forest, there was the Paul, yes, thank you, Kirby, the Paul. There was a Hollywood film that was actually based off of the suicide forest. I can't remember what it was called or anything, but, yeah, they were, like, exploiting and profiting off of this forest that is known where people go to commit suicide. And I really think that is, you know, again, a cultural appropriation where it's just like, oh, well, we're just Hollywood from America. We can do what we want, not offend anybody. It's like, no. It starred, The Forest. It starred Natalie Dormer. I don't know who that is, but yeah, The Forest. That's right. I remember now, yeah. And plus, from Game of Thrones. Oh, okay, yeah. God, I miss Game of Thrones. Anyway, sorry. They exploit everything in every situation they can for profit. Yeah, absolutely, Pearl. Absolutely. And it's wrong. And it's wrong, but yet the masses just celebrate it by going to the theaters, going, oh, I'm going to the theaters to watch this. It's cultural appropriation, but I don't care because it's from Hollywood. Yeah, and like P.T. Barnum, that entire story is so completely off. He was such a scam artist. He would falsify freaking mummies and all kinds of things just to make a buck. And he ended up making thousands of dollars off of these fake items and fake everything. And oh my god, his performers were treated like shit. Oh, Hollywood is like Barnum. Hollywood is very much like P.T. Barnum. Just out for that quick dollar. You know, the next biggest thing to make us more money. That was P.T. Barnum. He was just such a piece of shit of a person. And he didn't even pay his performers by any means at all well. He paid them like they were slaves. Paid them very, very low, like cents for days and hours of performing and everything. And like he only paid well his favorite performers, like Tom Thumb. Tom Thumb was the only one that really got paid, the only little person that was paid well to have like a house and food and everything, and everybody else was barely paid enough to buy bread and brandy or wine to get them through the next performance. And it was actually through them gambling with the patrons that would come to party with them after their show. They would drink with them and eat with them and everything and invite them in their homes, and it created that exposure, created that level of normalcy for them. And thankfully, now we don't have that when it comes to people that are born with natural deformities. But there is a level of taboo on them, that they are just looked at like freaks still. Kirby says, it's no longer even a quick buck. If the franchise can't be milked forever. Oh, crap, I missed it. I even tapped in and it didn't stay. Sorry, Kirby. If somebody could send an emoji or something, I'd appreciate it. Thank you again, Pearl. Okay, it's no longer even a quick buck. If the franchise can't be milked forever all around the world, it's not worth it. Yes, absolutely. Completely. They milk it so much, and they're just out to make millions out of every film. Like, oh, what's the next one to break the box office record? And it's just like, why is this always about breaking the box office record? Why can't this just be about, like, accuracy and making good films instead of, like, Michael Bay films where it's purely visual and there's no plot, no story, no nothing. It's literally just all about, wow, look at the CG. I mean, you know, that's why, like, in the 80s and in the early 90s, like, that was really the best time for original films and things. Like, they were so good and unique, and now we just have remakes because that's all they're out for, is the next thing to make them even more money. And it's disgusting. It's disgusting. It's really sad how greed has just taken over our entire society, and nobody even bats an eye to it. And I don't know, hopefully something will cause change into that, because I miss uniqueness and originality and true art being cherished and shared and loved and shared by all, and all about uniting and not hating and things. And it's just, man, whatever happened to that? Now it's all about selfies and likes and follow for follow. Can't stand that. I still get those comments of follow for follow or sub for sub, and it's just like, I'm not hungry. I don't want a Subway sandwich. Thank you, though. Sorry, bad joke. I don't follow people to get them to follow me, because I don't want people to follow me because of that. I want people to follow me because they like me. Kirby says James Cameron is making sure his next 3 or 4 Avatar films will come out. God damn it, that's freaking phone. Sorry, Kirby. I tapped on it again, and I'm just, I'm gonna attack this phone next time. Thank you, Pearl. James Cameron is making sure his next 3 or 4 Avatar films will come out in a sequential year-by-year format. Yes. Oh my god. And see, that's another thing too. Like, when it comes to that Avatar film, it was great. Avatar was great. Leave it alone. Let it be. Because we all know sequels suck. And, I really don't expect it to be any better. I do expect that it's going to be a lot worse than the first movie. The first movie was great. They should just leave it alone. Leave it as it is. But, yeah, we all know that that's not going to happen. They just, like you said, Kirby, they're just going to milk everything they can out of it. But they have to beat the dead horse. Yep. Beat that horse into the ground. Cameron always has broken the sequel stereotype. Terminator, aliens. Dear, we both know I absolutely hate aliens. But, I mean, I do... Kirby says, at least they're not crazy enough for Titanic 2 yet. Oh my god! Could you imagine? Could you imagine they come out with a freaking Titanic 2? The rise of the ship. It's like, oh god! Like, leave it alone! I didn't like sequels on those either. Cameron would refuse. Well, yeah, obviously, but, yeah, no, I don't know. Like... I miss the old days. Things were good, things were smart. It would be a paranormal movie based on a true story. There you go, Pearl. Yeah, I mean, that would be plausible, definitely. Terminator 2 was fantastic, Pearl. Says my boyfriend. Did I watch the Terminators? I don't think I did. We will agree to disagree. I like the way you speak, Pearl. I always do that with people too. I go, I'm gonna just agree to disagree and walk away very awkwardly. But, yeah. Oh, babe, knock it off. My boyfriend has... He needs to get out more. And argue with yourself. There you go, Pearl. Damn, I knew I liked you. You're awesome. I do constantly. Yeah, he does. I can attest to that. It's funny too. Hence my mental instability. You're dating me. You have a mental instability. You kind of have to be with me. Yeah. I have so many opinions on when it comes to Hollywood, especially because, like, I mean, look back in the 90s. I mean, freaking hell, there was Animaniacs, Beakman's World, Bill Nye the Science Guy, all these educational programs, even freaking the Magic School Bus and everything. Well, thank you, dear. But now it's like, it's just musicals. Victorious, Miley Cyrus, and whatever the hell is on now, because I don't watch TV. It's just like, it's all about fame and stardom and getting noticed and recognized, and oh my god, and I can't. I know there was one show called Dog with a Blog. I actually really tried to watch that one time, and I was just like, this is on TV, but Animaniacs is not? Okay. Whatever happened to education? Whatever happened to teaching children to think with their brains and not eat Tide Pods? God. We didn't have these problems when we were kids. Eating fucking Tide Pods. We just knew. You look at the label, it says toxic. Okay, you don't touch it. Because mom will beat the hell out of you. Oh, and I hate the term millennials. Oh. God, it's like an insult to me. They're like, oh, you millennials. I'm like, ugh. Oh. Ugh. It's bad. Like, I'm actually part of the generation that actually still has a brain. Pearl says, showed my girls pictures of the injuries to mouths. Never had to worry about that. There you go. That's a great way to handle it. Oh, man. I can't believe that. And then I saw this article where people were actually puncturing the Tide Pods to put in their vapes. I don't mind. Millennials are in E-mode 20s at this point. E-mode. The next generation should be called the satellites. Oh, yes. Oh, mid-20s. Well, I don't know. The whole millennial generation is such an expanded and blanket term for a large group of people that were born in this huge span of time. I just don't agree with that term. But I just don't agree with it too because I know better. The new generation is Generation Z. Yeah, I've learned about that. I don't know. Man, it's like, it really makes me wonder what the hell these kids and people were thinking when they came up with these fucking things. Like the cinnamon challenge. I didn't have to try it to know that that was a bad idea. Just smelling cinnamon whenever I make my pancakes is just kind of like, oh crap, this is in my throat. That burns. Of course you don't put that in your mouth. Is there anything that defines a generation anymore, really? I don't know. I really don't. Generational trends. Yeah. If our forefathers were alive today, they would be blowing their heads off. They'd like... Those are recycled too, though. Oh, yeah. Yeah, they are. The generational terms, yeah. Or, yeah, if I see bell bottoms come back one more time, oi. Hey, Pearl, I actually liked bell bottoms when I was a teenager. Not so much anymore, but I liked bell bottoms. It's really about access to technologies that are defining the generations, though I miss my Doc Martens. Actually, you can still get Doc Martens, Pearl. You can get them on the Doc Martens website and everything. They still make them, they still sell them, and they're really awesome. I actually been thinking about getting myself a pair if they weren't so pricey, though. But then again, I did recently. Yeah, Docs are still huge. I actually very recently. I don't know if you can see. These are my platforms. They make me tall. But yeah. They were flossy purple. You know what? They actually do still have color options and everything too. You should check it out, Pearl. Definitely. Kirby says, some year in the distant future, disco rap will become a thing. Oh, God! Kirby, no! What? Disco rap? That sounds awful. Mm-mm. Pearl says, kill me now. Urban bohemian aesthetic. Oh my god, disco rap. I can't. Disco rap already happened? No. I do look urban bohemian, says Pearl. I actually really like the bohemian look. I personally, I'm so pale, I can't do color. I reflect the color and it makes me look either sick or really weird. Puff Daddy in the late 90s, says my boyfriend. Then Kanye. Really? I'm really starting to question reality right now. I had blue hair last year. Nice! I actually had blue hair last year too. It was completely by accident though. And then I just refreshed it on purpose but I felt like I looked very pasty and I didn't like it. They're sped up old disco tracks for the beats. And Pearl says her blue hair was a phase. Kirby says, I can assure you disco rap will be better than country rap. I miss my gray hair, Pearl. I really loved my gray hair, but man, I could not do my roots again because my hair was just breaking. The Hubs hates the blue hair. Aw. I'm sorry. That sucks. Thankfully, I'm very lucky. My boyfriend is very supportive in whatever I want to do with my hair. Mine was actually gray into blue. Oh, nice. Yeah, I really miss my gray hair, but I actually do like the black hair. I get a lot of compliments, especially at work. A lot of my coworkers are like, man, that black hair looks so good on you. Especially Zach's mom, Nancy. She works at the museum too. She always tells me, she's like, you should keep your hair that length and that style. It looks so good on you. And I'm just like, oh, thank you, Nancy. Because I cringe when I'm complimented. I'm waiting for the comments to come back. Mo Money, Mo Problems was I'm Coming Out by Diana Ross, for instance. Oh, God. You look glorious in every shade you wear, sweetie. Thank you, dear. You're wonderful. I get so awkward, I'm sorry. I'm just sitting here eating my crackers, watching you guys have a conversation. I think it's great. It's okay to be awkward. Thank you, Pearl. When you covered the bottom of your face, it looked like Spy versus Spy. I have a personal issue with Spy versus Spy. I'll tell you about that another time there, dear. Because, oh, and I think I told you about it. The whole demon experience thing. Yeah. Yeah, my dream. So I don't know if you, Kirby and Pearl, I don't know if you've seen my worst paranormal experience vlog, but I talk about my actual worst paranormal experience. And the first thing that happened to me was I saw this girl that was completely solid white, no color to her at all, just straight up white. And she had these really big blue eyes. And then she disappeared, came back, and her eyes were gone. It's my entire experience. That was the worst experience that I've had. So I'm not going to get into all of it today because I do have a video on it, but also I don't like talking about it very much. Yeah, when her eyes disappeared, it didn't freak me out instantly. I was kind of like in this weird trance where I was just kind of like, huh, where did her eyes go? Oh, she's got pockmarks on her face now. Her hair's messed up. That's interesting. Why is she pulling me downward? And yeah, so it was this whole thing. And when I was telling the group that I was in at the time, the paranormal group that I was in, I confided into them as to what happened to me because I was acting really weird for quite a while. I wasn't getting much sleep for like 3 days until I was able to get an Ankh. And because the Ankh is... it was a symbol that came to me that I wanted and needed. So it is a symbol that I use, even still, that I wear all the time. But, so yeah, when it came to telling my co-investigators about it, one of them actually told me about a demon experience he had. And it involved a dream where they, it was him having this dream about... he described it as the guy looking like the Spy versus Spy, the white spy guy, just stabbing him, like just non-stop, constantly. And he got up, went to his apartment kitchen, and one of his roommates had gotten up, and he was like, man, dude, I had this really weird dream where it was like this, this little dude that was just solid white, just stabbing the hell out of me. He kind of looked like the Spy versus Spy, the white spy guy. And, like, he just freaked out. He was like, whoa, dude, I had that same nightmare just now. That's why I'm up. And his roommate was just like, whoa. And they had a third roommate, but he wasn't there that night. So they were going to call him, even though it was in the middle of the night, they were going to call him to see if he was experiencing anything. And then sure enough, as they were going to call him, their third roommate called them and was like, dude, I had this really weird nightmare just now. So this little white dude, you look like Spy versus Spy, the white guy, just stabbing the hell out of me. And they all just started freaking out. And so it's like, so the whole Spy versus Spy thing, every time that's ever mentioned, that's exactly where my mind goes. And I'm just like, ugh. One day when I again have the ability to type appropriately, I'll tell you what my littlest has seen. Oh, you definitely should, Pearl. To my boyfriend, send an emoji so I can see their comment. I would love to hear your story, Pearl. You can actually message it to me on any of my social media stuff, Facebook, Instagram. It's all the same name, Yinyangsara. So if you want to message it to me, and if you want, I can talk to you about it. On a live stream, of course. I still, for the life of me, can't remember what mutual dream we had at the same time. Oh yeah, I remember. We did have the same dream. I can't remember what that was either. Yeah, there was... I can't remember. I think I had called my boyfriend right after... You know, we always call each other in the morning and everything. And I was telling him about a dream that I had, which doesn't really happen to me much anymore. I don't dream very often. It involves someone trying to split us up. Yeah, I can't really remember. But I remember telling him about it, and he was like all quiet and like, "Are you serious?" And I was like, "Yeah, that was the dream that I had." He was like, "I had the same exact dream, like almost exact verbatim." No, we had the same dream sleeping next to each other. Did we? I thought I called you. I could have swore you told me over coffee. Did I? Huh. I could have swore that I called you, but I call you a lot, so maybe that's why. Oh wait, no, yeah, was that at your place? Because I don't think that was here. It was not on my place. I think it was at your place. Now that I think about it. Yeah, you were wondering why I was so quiet. Oh, yeah. Kirby, see, the spider was dreaming between you two and intercepting your dreams. Oh, God. No. I don't see any more webs. So, I think we're good. I think it's gone. At least I hope so. Your place, you were playing on your phone. No, what? I really don't remember then. I really don't remember. I have the worst memory in the world. Yeah, no, fuck that spider though. Seriously, I'm not gonna touch anything out here actually once I'm done with the live stream. I'm gonna just take a flashlight and take a look at everything first. Pearl says, okay, it's 12 and I have to be up at 5. Go to bed, Pearl. Thank you so much for joining us. Actually, I'm gonna end this live stream because I'm just sitting here like just eating crackers and talking to you guys. So sorry for my cough. Told you I'm still getting over my cold, but yeah, thank you guys so much for joining. This actually was a really fun live stream. I really enjoy these kind of live streams where we're just talking and having all kinds of fun. But Emmy does have a really bad memory. But anyway, thank you guys so much for joining. I'm gonna have some more crackers and make some more tea and take a flashlight and make sure that that spider is fucking gone. So anyway, bye Kirby, thank you so much for joining. Pearl, I know you already left, but thank you again for joining. And of course my boyfriend, Rarsome Cat, Kari, Joe, everybody that joined, thank you guys so much. And I will see you again very soon. Live streams will be back on Sundays. Very sorry for the last 2 Sundays. I was sick and had a panic attack, as I mentioned earlier, but yes. Mwah! Love you guys so much. Yin Yang is a balance, and a balance lies within yourself. Have a good night, guys. Bye.